What if I told you that this past month, Edmonton's housing market looked like it was cooling, but the numbers tell a completely different story? Inventory has jumped, sales have surged, all time high prices are holding, and this is all happening at the same time. And while that sounds like a win for everyone, the truth is this market is quietly heading towards a tipping point. In this video, we're breaking down what's really driving the shift, what segments are heating up the fastest, and why one stat in particular could reveal where the prices are headed next. And no, this isn't just a numbers recap. This is a behind the scenes look at what buyers and sellers actually need to know right now. Real quick, if we haven't met, my name is Richard, a Canadian real estate agent, and I'm passionate about helping you understand what's actually going on in the housing market. This channel is all about breaking down Canadian real estate in a way that actually makes sense. So if that's something that you want to stay on top of, hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next one. So before we get into the specifics of the Edmonton market, let's just start off with the bigger picture here. Why are we seeing the sudden market momentum? Biggest thing is confidence is creeping back in, and it really showed up in the numbers. There's growing evidence that home sales in Canada bottomed in Q1. In Edmonton, we saw a 9% increase in home sales from March to April, which is pretty decent. And it kind of tracks with the national trends of stabilization and mild optimism. But here's where it kind of gets interesting because inventory is finally rebounding. After months of decline, April has brought a 12.1% increase in active listings month over month in the greater Edmonton area. And new listings, they're up nearly 10% from March. So we're in this unusual phase where both demand and supply are climbing. And when we have these two types of stats happening, it usually brings about price fluctuations. Interest rates are also playing a part here, with the Bank of Canada just expected to possibly cut rates in June here. Market people are sensing a shift here, and that's really the big if, because everybody's watching to see if rates drop. And if they do, it won't just boost affordability, it could also reignite some demand in a big way as well. So before we talk what this all means for you, because there's a lot of information going around here, depending if you're buying, if you're selling, or just waiting on the sidelines. But let's ground ourselves to what's actually happening in Edmonton market right now, because the sales numbers, the price trends, the inventory shifts this month, they're all telling a revealing story here. And so to kick things off is the total residential sales in greater Edmonton area, which hit 2,710 homes sold, which is up 9% from March, but it's still down 13% from last April. Detached homes just continue to lead the charge, where we have 1,576 detached home sales, which is up 10% month over month. And then semi-detached homes saw the largest month over month growth, or jump, I should say, where sales were up 15.4% over March. And then apartments are kind of telling a different story here. Sales were down 14.9% year over year, though they were up slightly from March. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting, where we're talking about the average price of all the residential homes in Edmonton being $470,000, or just slightly above, which is up 2.1% month over month. Really a solid gain of 9% year over year. And then the detached homes just cracked the $585,000 mark on average, which is up 10.4% from last year. Then we're getting into the semi-detached. We're at just about 435,000 on average, which is up 7% year over year. Then we have row and then townhomes sitting at almost $415,000, which is up 6.7%. And then finishing up with apartments, where we're sitting at $218,330 on average, which is up 8.5%. So as we can see here, Edmonton and all sectors have had a pretty substantial growth from last year, which you can't really say the same about many other major cities within Canada. Now, another stat that's very important when it comes to selling or even buying a property is to factor in how many days does it take to sell a house on average, right? You put your home up for sale, how many days can you expect basically your home to be sold? And so right now the overall average is 30 days. Detached homes are moving the fastest, just at 29 days. Apartments are still the slowest, sitting at 38 days. So if you're thinking about selling in Edmonton, just expect around a month or so to get it sold. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, well, Rich, that's great, all this data is fantastic, but what does this actually mean? And so as promised, we're going to get into, if you're a buyer, seller, what does it all mean? So first off, I want to talk to you buyers. We're kind of in a bit of an interesting spot right now, because prices year over year have substantially increased, one of the most really of the major cities in Canada. But when it comes to month over month, it appears that we're shifting more towards the buyer's market. That's gives you serious buyers out there just a little bit more breathing room, a little bit more negotiations. There's going to be the detached homes. They're still moving quite fast, so don't sleep on those. But if you're looking for value, apartment condos are going to be the sleeper pick right now, in my opinion. They're still very affordable and just less competitive. And I'll leave it off with just keep an eye on interest rates, because if the Bank of Canada does cut rates in June here, which many are expecting that they will, it will increase affordability, which in turn makes home prices go up. So we'll see what actually happens here in June, but keep an eye on that as well. Now for sellers, this next section is for you. You're still in the driver's seat. Inventory has started to ticking upwards, so keep that in mind, but demand is still relatively strong. But what I will say is that these prices are starting to peak. So it's hard to say if we're at the top right now, but if you have a detached home or a semi-detached home, you're still in the driver's seat. Though what I will say is that presentation and pricing still definitely matter. Homes that are staged, priced right, are moving under the 30-day mark. Edmonton's market isn't red hot or ice cold, it's evolving. And what we're seeing is just a steady spring surge with more listings giving, finally buyers a chance just to move or have more options. And then sellers really just a chance to cash in on that price growth, right? If you're looking at the year over year, it's around that 9 to 10%. And then always keep an eye on the interest rates and just watch for inventory trends through this end of May and June, because that really will be the key factor whether we have this upward momentum holds or if it starts to cool, because again, we're at that crest there where it could go either way. The market is, again, always changing. So the smartest decisions come from just understanding what's actually happening, not just what's in the headlines. And if this help gave you some clarity, just go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on next month's breakdown. And if you want to see how this month compares to last month's, where I cover some trends that are still playing out now, I'm going to link that video right here. And while you check that out, I'm going to go fly some drones.